Hi guys, so it's Mai from Crypto Beta Cafe. How are you? Hope everything's well. So in this video, I'm going to discuss impact theory, the SEC lawsuit and settlement, and I think I'm going to talk about NFTs with you guys because I never really fully explained where I stand with them, and why I really don't discuss them very much for various reasons. I don't like to confuse you guys, and I don't think my personal opinion should ever change your personal opinion. However, you should be able to see the evidence that I'm referring to when I make these statements. Okay, so first I'm going to read the article, and then I'm going to go over the document that shows two of the commissioners and how they didn't agree with the SEC's ruling, and how this ruling literally doesn't change the definition of what they think NFTs are. So it's kind of pointless because it does nothing to clarify, to provide regulatory clarity. It is just a cash grab per usual. And this is what we've been saying with all these SEC lawsuits. We're making these lawsuits, but we're not getting anywhere closer to clarifying whether this is a security, its own asset. None of that happens. The SEC is just suing people and taking the money. And then, if people are being harmed, why do you guys get to keep all the lawsuit money? Why is the lawsuit money not going to people that have been harmed, in air quotes? So it's just a really interesting and weird thing, but I'm going to quickly go through this with you. And I hope everyone's well. So yeah, let's start here. So one question the blockchain space has had to deal with for years is what is the status of its assets, from cryptos to NFTs? Are they securities? Are they utilities? Are they somewhere in between? And if you notice, they haven't really touched or talked about NFTs, which is really funny because I thought the NFTs would be the first vector of attack. Like they'd just be like, NFTs are definitely securities because you create them, someone controls the wallet, they set the prices, they resell them, blah blah blase blase blase. Um, so Impact Theory is this show. I don't know if you've seen on YouTube. I didn't even know they had NFTs. So for one, I was just like, what? And I've seen this guy, and he seems to have pretty good shows, but there becomes a certain thing where I never agree with the SEC, but I understand what they're saying, how that it's inherently problematic. So Impact Theory began in 2021. The company started offering NFTs for sale. The assets dubbed key NFT allowed users to possibly receive a share of Impact Theory's profits in the future. There were three tiers of investment: legendary, historic, and relentless, and the company raised a reporting $30 million from the sales of NFTs. Sadly, this got them into trouble with the SEC. The argument was made that by using the NFTs as a way to distribute future profits and raise funds, Impact Theory sold unregistered securities. In order to find that this NFT offered and sold to investors were investment contracts, therefore securities. According to Impact Theory, violated federal securities law by offering and selling these crypto asset securities to a public and unregistered offering that was not otherwise exempt from registration. Impact Theory did not confirm or deny these allegations, but took some steps to rectify them. The company agreed to cease and desist order to pay $6.1 million fine and create a fund to pay back investors, destroyed all the NFTs under its control, and eliminate any royalties it was received from the secondary sales of the NFT. So this case is a landmark because of its first instance of an NFT enforcement as part of the SEC. The commission has gone toe-to-toe with anyone from Coinbase to Ripple Labs over the years, but the NFT has been spared that treatment. And even in legal documentations as to regulation, they never mention NFTs, and we've all found it to be very strange. However, this case sets a precedent that could affect some NFTs in the near future. You see, when it comes to crypto, the debate about the legal status seems to stem from the financial benefits the user can get. This is where the argument always comes in, and of what makes crypto a utility versus a token investment. So most NFTs emphasize other things like rarity and utility. Others have also been shared of future profits by the buyers. There isn't much prosecution thus far, but it could be very well changed. It's made very clear that the SEC statement that was in fact the NFTs wasn't the fact that NFTs were being sold, but they were essentially the tokenizations of future profit sales, which is dangerously close to security. This means a whole class of NFTs to be subject to the same treatment. NFT collections that are just art pieces for in-game use or along prizes or special experience will probably not be getting a cease and desist from the SEC anytime soon. However, the NFTs are being sold to raise funds for upcoming projects, and share a future profit might return themselves in hot water. So And they said they paid the settlement because they didn't want to, spend years in court, and they thought the legal ramifications of it, dragging out would be much worse than them settling, disbanding, and doing something different. Okay, so my issue with this whole situation is, and I don't, I don't know anything about his project. I didn't know it was an NFT project. So two things. So the issue I have with NFTs is that if you are a artist, right, and you're wanting to monetize your art in a second space, cool, right? You already have a brand, you have an identity, you are giving your artwork a second life, right? We know that your brand is tied with your personal identity, and you're going to do everything you can to maintain that brand. Cool, awesome, great NFT use case. Number one. The issue I have is some people will make collections and people will buy these NFTs and they think they'll go into high value and they'll trade them or whatever. And then there is nothing to stop the price going down because you don't know who these people are. You don't know, the team. And it's like you guys are purchasing it. They're not being required by any contract or any type of thing to actually generate revenue or maintain price, which is why they don't even meet the prongs of the Howey test. They're definitely not securities, because literally someone can make them and there is no expectation of profit because it could all go to zero the next day because, everyone sells them at a lower price, or the creators are not, they're just taking their money and go. They're just taking the money from the project and they're just dipping instead of, maintaining the project, creating more work, creating future revenue, just adding more into the space, like, monetizing it in different ways. So that's when that becomes an issue. So I don't like projects that come out of nowhere and just push it NFT. I like anonymous projects, but I don't like anonymous projects that advertise that have no intention of maintaining the project long term. To me, I've seen it 1,000 times. I used to be like, "Oh, this is cool," but now I'm just like, I'm cool with like free NFT projects that like ran it up and they released their art and they just turned into a thing. That's cool. That's at the heart of decentralization. That's cute, right? But like some of these projects, and that's the issue I have, the SEC should be coming specifically for people that have created NFT projects and rugged like immediately. That should be all over their docket. Someone monetizing their own podcast or show on YouTube in this way is different. I understand what they're saying, how they created these NFTs to put more money into their actual business, and it's kind of like creating a company and publicly raising funds and then going off and to do that. But the SEC needs to decide what they want. You can't just say, I don't think you should do that, so I'm going to sue you. You need to say, no, you guys cannot raise funds in that way. Like, there's still like, how do people know what they're doing is illegal unless you guys state so? It's like you guys can't keep not creating regulation, yet you're the first to go and sue people for millions of dollars. It's quite insane. And then the issue here is when people settle like this, it creates precedent. And now the SEC has a new vantage point where they'll go sue projects. So I also am curious as to how this would affect Bankless. I need to look at their business module, but I'm very curious about, because I don't think it's a horrible idea. Like, you should be able to sell your podcast or your show. Like, if I wanted to monetize my show and I wanted to make an NFT and sell it, that's fine. But I guess he's saying that he had the pre-sale for the NFTs and had different tiers, and that's a problem. But I still think it's okay for you to create an NFT out of your show and then just sell it directly as the NFT itself. I still think that they're indicating that that's okay, but no legal documentation stating that, just this lawsuit where they've gotten more millions of dollars without creating any clarity. It's at this point, it's very frustrating. And now let's read Esther Pierce's comment, who we love because she's the only one that, speaks up against, dictator Gensler. And she says, today the commission brought its first non-fungible token enforcement. We dissent in part because we disagree with the application of the Howey analysis. Regardless of what one thinks of the Howey analysis, this matter raises larger questions with which the commission should grapple before bringing additional NFT cases. The facts underlying the settlement are most likely unremarkable. Impact Theory sold almost 30 million of NFTs, along with making loud promises that the NFT would also increase in value. So yeah, that's another thing. I don't know what's wrong with you guys, but stop making comments on Twitter saying that this is going to do this. Just put it out and let it do what it's going to do. But I think your own tweets are coming back to bite you in your behind, because look at this. I think that's also misleading too, to start you have a huge account, you're making all these statements about your NFT collection. You don't know if it's going to maintain price. Like, that's between you, God, and like Dejans, like, don't do that. It's weird. Purchasers of the NFT shared this excitement, and the order quotes one purchaser saying, "Buying a founder's key is like investing in Disney, Call of Duty, and YouTube all at once." However, the NFTs were not shares of the company. Okay, they're not shares of a company. Point. And did not generate any types of dividends for purchasers. The commission charged Impact Theory with engaging in unregistered securities offering on the theory of NFTs were offered and sold as investment contracts. The settlement does not include fraud charges, which is strange. We understand why the commission was concerned about this NFT sale, but even though we believe strongly that adults should be able to spend their money as they choose, we share our colleagues' worry about the type of hype that entices people to spend almost $30 million for NFTs without having a clear idea how they will use, enjoy, or profit from them. This legitimate concern, however, is not a sufficient basis to pull the matter into our jurisdiction. She's right. The handful of company and purchaser statements cited by the order are not the kinds of promises that form a investment contract. They're not. We do not routinely bring enforcement actions against people that sell watches, paintings, and collectibles, along with a vague promise to build the brand and thus increase the resale value of those tangible items. And just so you know, 20% of all like high-end paintings is normally fraud. So like, have real generalized concerns. Like, the SEC is very strange lately. They just wake up and like try to see what nonsense they can conjure up to sue. Even if the NFT sales here fit squarely with Howley, in this set of facts that one warrants an enforcement action, the typical cure for a registration violation is a rescission offer, which the company already made in the form of a repurchase program. So basically, Impact Theory repurchased the NFTs that were on the market before this happened, I believe. The company offered to repurchase the NFTs from primary and secondary market purchases in December 2021 and 2022. It paid out a total of 7.7 million Ether. Presumably, other purchasers likewise have sold their NFTs back to the company. Because it is the first NFT settlement, the enforcement action raises many difficult questions. The commission should have grappled with these questions a long time ago and offered guidance when the NFT first started proliferating. Yep. It's like, why would you guys let the sale happen? When you find out about the sale, you think it's wrong. Maybe that would be the time to sue before people spend money. It's just really weird. Nevertheless, having a discussion about NFTs now could help the commission approach this topic sensibly. Some questions we have included: non-fungible tokens are not easy to characterize as an asset class, particularly because it can give the owner a wide array into the rights of digital or physical assets. People are experimenting with a lot of different uses for NFTs. Consequently, any attempts to use this enforcement action as a precedent is fraught with difficulty. Are there useful ways for the commission to categorize NFTs for the purpose of thinking about whether and how the securities laws applies to offers and sales? If the commission were to craft a guidance for NFT creators seeking to understand potential intersections with the securities law, what questions would be helpful for us to address? How should recent legislation efforts to construct a framework for crypto inform our thinking about the application of securities laws to NFTs? Is the security laws regime best suited to ensure that the NFT purchasers obtain the information they need before buying an NFT? What type of information do the purchasers want? Might other regulatory frameworks be more appropriate? And I love this question because this is the questions I have all the time. Is the securities law regime the best suited to ensure any type of regulation in the crypto space? Probably not at this point. If a securities law regime is best, how can the SEC registration required be tailored to reflect the unique nature of NFTs? Would compliance with any requirement be a prohibitively cost? If so, what alternative approaches would be more workable, but still achieve the commission's objective of protecting investors and the integrity of the marketplace? Does this action indicate that the commission generally views previous NFT offerings as securities offerings? And this is a huge issue because if so, there are a lot of people that are screwed right now if that's the case. Like, there's a lot of people that would not be okay. And that's not, someone shouldn't have to live in fear because they created an NFT collection. You have to understand how insane that is. If so, will the commission provide specific guidance to those who issue describing what they need to do to come into compliance? What if any restriction should apply to secondary market sales of NFTs that the issuer sold as the object of an investment contract. And as we know, it's not going to apply to secondary market because people bought it with free will. So another L for the SEC, even if they try it. The SEC includes an undertaking by the issuer to destroy the NFT in its position. What precedent does this set for future cases where the NFT at issue represents a single piece of digital art or music? So every time you sue a NFT company, are you going to make them destroy their art? Do you know how like evil that sounds? Jesus. And then the settlement includes an undertaking to revise the smart contract. What? That's evil. To revise a smart contract or other programming code, see a computer protocol underlying the key NFTs to eliminate any royalties. Given that one promising feature of NFTs is the ability to reward creators royalties every time the NFT is created that is sold, what president does this? Oh my God, they shouldn't have settled. This is so bad. Because now the SEC can sue you, agree to settle, and you have to change the royalty agreement and revise the smart contract. This is why I don't like people stepping into crypto to monetize themselves if you're not going to stand on all 10 toes and think like, could this hurt the industry? Like, it has to be more than money sometimes because you did this, got your money, got millions of dollars, and now you're giving the money back, settling, but you've created such bad precedent that they're going to use and reapply to different NFT projects. Like, can someone, I hope someone interviews him and like discusses his thought process with this. Like, I understand he was going to save money, but the fact that this was allowed to happen is really, really bad. And it's not okay. They shouldn't have to revise the smart contract to eliminate any royalty if they're already going to destroy the NFT. Like, that's just asking a lot. And I feel like it's against freedom of speech or software code to force them to alter their code due to a regulatory situation. Like, you guys can't. It's like asking them to alter Bitcoin because someone had some type of fraud. So you have to alter the blockchain. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that because it's different. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if they were to ask to alter a blockchain based upon a situation that happened, no, you guys can't do that. And there has to be a boundary. And the fact that they snuck this in is so like anti-constitutional. Like, I don't think it's cool at all. This sucks. Okay. Well, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is going to reflect on other NFT projects? Is this like a super red flag? I think it's a super red flag. We all should like have some concern. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, bye guys. Have a good day or night.